Hello everybody, Incon here. We've got another season of the SPL, so we're going to be doing our SPL reviews. Because of the amount of games this season that there's going to be every week, I'm going to split it up into European and North American videos. So sometimes this week there is 4 games each. This upcoming week, I think there's way more than that. I'm not 100% sure. I think there could be 8 to like 12 games or something crazy. So we'll see how it goes, but we're going to be splitting it up. European, so it's going to be European video, North American video for each week. So getting right into it. Europe. Titan versus Fanatic. This was at Gamescom over a week ago. Went 1-1 split. First game in favor of Titan. Notable things here. Confrey on Artemis was a big deal. Playing very well. And of course, they got Alquang and Bologna on the same team. They also got Ares in Europe. Really favors Ares. Really, they got 3 of the top picks that Europe wants. In exchange, Fnatic got Ratataskar, who's not quite as strong at that point. Janus was a strong pick, arguably not as strong as Isis, though. Get Rama, all good picks, but not as strong as the Alquang, Bologna, Isis area. I mean, crazy. Confrey getting the Artemis, which is a crazy pick, but worked out in that game. Next game, looking at it, once again, Titan gets Bologna, but they also get Rat this time, but Rat did not seem favorable in either team's matchup. This one going the way of Fnatic for the 1-1 split. Reels doing things that Reels does, going 4-0-7, typical Reels fashion. Alquang, once again, getting on the opposing team this time. The team with Alquang won both times. It's almost like you should be banning Alquang if you're not first pick, but, that is kind of that. Moving on, Dignitas versus Les Mamadans. I don't know how to say the name. I'm going to say Les Mamadans. I'm going to say it every time. But anyway, this was the Challenger League team. Was all French. Now it's 3 French guys. And then Sayo, and I forget who the 5th person is. Is it Germain? I believe Germain is the 5th. That's not, perhaps isn't French. Maybe it's Get Fisher. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But I had them winning 2-0, and they did indeed win 2-0 over Dig. Wasn't so much Dig playing poorly as much as it was the Myrmidons playing extremely well. Very strong play coming out from Germain and Mogao in particular. Those two really hyper-carrying their team from the ADC and solo lanes respectively. Not a huge fan of the Chronos pick from Variety. I don't know why you're running Chronos over the solo lane. Chunga over the solo lane as well. Wasn't a huge fan of the pick, but 6-1 and 15, I mean, the score shows. I think it worked because they were against another mage. If they were picking warriors, assassins, they could be invading the other team, but with double mage, there was no invade going on. Realistically, though, that wouldn't work against an invade comp, but neither teams were really going for the invades. Second game, we see Get Fisher on Alquang. Didn't really play that well on Alquang, even though Alquang is completely broken, but his team stepping it up that round for him. Probably the weakest link there was Get Fisher, but other than positioning probably incorrectly, he played fairly strong mechanically. He just seemed to maybe be a little antsy. It also was their first SPL game as a team. But overall, very good performance for them. Poor performance for Dig, honestly, in terms of where they wanted to start this season. Team Justice, which I believe was Upcoming Stars that got sponsored thanks to Lydia. I think all of that's right. I hope not any of it's wrong, but it could all be wrong. But that's that. Going against London Conspiracy, I had London Conspiracy taking this one 2-0. They did. London Conspiracy no longer, of course, having Suntouch. Suntouch having quit the competitive scene for now. Didn't feel like he was performing up to the standards of competitive. Is taking a break. London Conspiracy seems to have not missed a beat while they lost Suntouch. They picked up who they needed to pick up. They got Soggy, Sandal here, playing Fenrir both games, most notably the second game, going 11-1 on Fenrir. Making a comeback really is Fenrir across both metas, Europe and North America, which very rarely happens, but has been occurring. So expect to see more Fenrirs in all of your games with how strong he's been performing, particularly in Europe. Actually getting banned out in North America in several games as well. Strong play by London Conspiracy. Last, and the most shocking, I think, event of this week in terms of Europe, Paradigm Epsilon Esports. Epsilon taking this 2-0 over Paradigm. I love the guys in Paradigm. I've substituted for them in China when they were TSM. I've been at many events with these guys all the way back to the launch tournament. Particularly guys Cuvo, Trix Tank, Lobster, those guys. I've really known them for a long time. I really love those guys. They're really good people. Nothing against Epsilon. I just happen to be close friends with Paradigm. I voted for them to win 2-0. They got second place at the LAN. They were the #1 team seeded coming in Europe. And Epsilon really just, it was honestly domination. I don't know how else to explain it other than it was just domination. There's just no way around it. It was just not even close. Both games even. 31 minutes, seemed pretty long, but it really wasn't that close. The second game even shorter, 25 minutes, was even worse. Neath picked both games for Epsilon Esports, which is kind of interesting. It worked very well for them, obviously. 5-1 and 13 and 3-0 and 15. Adapting, playing extremely well. Adapting, arguably one of the best players in Europe, was up for MVP, with the only player getting voted MVP in his position without being on a team going to LAN. Something to keep in mind. Playing very well. Just a very strong performance coming out for them. At the same time that Paradigm had a poor performance, which I think really skewed the charts. But that's it for Europe, guys. Hope you enjoyed the recap. We have North America in another video that I'll probably put down yonder in the panels. If you enjoy the content, please subscribe. I'll keep you guys with weekly updates on the SPL. And as always, have a twitchin' day, y'all.